Well, of all people to swing out, the dude that lived in the garage just stopped by, and yeah, seems like a nice fella. Sounds like he got his stuff together since having all those problems years ago, which is a good thing, but you know, it kind of is what it is. Check it out. It's warmed up a little bit since the morning, so what I'm going to do is show you guys something I just bought to get access to the racetrack in the winter months. Tell me you own a Ford without telling me you own a Ford mod motor. Off to a great start. Okay. Well, looky here. Guess who started the truck? Alright, so as I was saying before, the truck so rudely interrupted me and decided to act up. I got the starter working, and what I think I found is that the battery lead from the top of the terminal post here to the starter was actually corroded, and it was as though the connection was half open. It just clicked like you saw that a few times. I took the starter out, cleaned everything. I got the battery tested. It had 800 cranking amps for like 15 seconds, so the battery checked out really good. All the cells were good. It's not swollen like it froze or anything like that. But after cleaning it, still clicked. Jump starting it made no difference, so it's not evidently a voltage issue, but rather a current one. So either, you know, this example, and could be many others, your starter's not starting, it just clicks like that. You either have a bad starter because the starter does not have enough current to start, like the batteries are low, which is not the case in my situation. So I was a little bit worried I needed to replace the starter immediately, but ultimately that wasn't the case. I just cleaned up the one terminal under there, put her all back together, and it's good to go. So I'll shut her down real quick, clean everything else really good, and I think we'll be good to go. If it does it again, I suspect it's a starter because I was banging around under there, but what actually did it was not malleting it. I was actually cleaning the post and all that, and then it fired right up. So hopefully that's all on this one, but I'm gonna clean up tools and stuff and hopefully go drive it for a while. It's funny, you know, because this could have happened to pretty much any vehicle you bought, but when you buy something new and it costs a little bit of money and all of a sudden just doesn't start, it's a real bummer. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have had worse stories than that. I bought it from a business that's got, as far as I know, a really good reputation. They've got a couple hundred trucks, so there's really no reason to rip anybody off with it. If it was over a starter, it's not worth, you know, the problem. So I don't think I got a bad deal on it still. I think I just got the short end of the stick on a quirk that showed up recently, and if I can get into it for just cleaning those starter posts, I'll be pretty happy. I'll have to try it again tomorrow and see if it starts when everything's cold and it's been sitting, because that's when it seems to have the problem. I mean, once it starts and it's warm, it's never done it, but it's always a cold start. So I really won't know more till tomorrow, but until then, I'm gonna go try and open up the driveway because it's supposed to get really, really cold tonight, so I can at least get in there tomorrow and finish plowing the rest of the property. But I'll have to work later this afternoon, so I've only got a little bit of time. I just want to get ahead of it while I can. So we'll see you guys out of the track. Alright, so the plow truck's working good now that I got that starter figured out. Got a little windrow to clean up here, but I'm going to have access to the property, which is good. And you can see pretty much how much snow, you know, we've got. I mean, those are tall cones. There's a little windrow here, but there's about a foot of snow that fell over the last couple of snowfalls in the last week. So I'm going to go ahead and start plowing from that way out to here because there's plenty of room to pile snow out. So I actually kind of work backwards this time. And yeah, I'll show you guys what it's like to go plowing. Now, it should be clear, I'm not pretending like I'm some expert snowplow operator or anything like that, but I've done it before and it's a lot of fun, and it's like one of the many things that you really just don't get to learn until you go out and do it. So I'm going to be doing this kind of one-handed. I'll bring the GoPro out tomorrow, but I more or less wanted to make sure the truck's good today and show you guys kind of what it's all about. It's a lot of fun plowing. Try and take this little last pile out of here. Ooh, that was heavy. And try and push it off into the woods here. All right, now I'm gonna turn around, head down the driveway, and push it out kind of where we're at now. One thing to note, I did get in here off camera. The windrow I'm really worried about freezing tonight or this weekend is one right off the road, so trying to blast apart a big chunk of ice is really not ideal. And that's exactly what was gonna happen. You guys might wonder, why don't you just plow it across the road? Well, it's actually illegal to plow snow across the highway or county road or street. You can't do it, it is illegal. And not only that, it's dangerous. So I'm not pushing over there. I took all this and I pulled it back this way. There's just some tracks for me going back and forth, but you kind of get the idea. So, all right, so what I'm gonna do with the plow is try and plow the snow off to the right and then on to the left after a couple passes. So I'm gonna angle it like you might do with a straight blade. So it's actually just gonna apron off to the right. I'll put it down and then go forward, and hopefully it's got enough gusto to kind of plow it out of the way. Should. You gotta think all this would be frozen in a couple of days, so the time to do this really is right now. When you turn around, we've got half of our road open. So I'll take one more swipe and clean up any windrows and touch it up, and I can see the edges of the road, but that's the gist of it. It's kind of the basic idea. All right, so as you can see, after two passes, the third pass, I'm starting to clean up. I got both lanes all the way open. I got grass on each side, which is cool. I'm gonna come through and V the plow all the way in, like you're gonna do the pizza thing or whatever, but backwards to slow down skiing. So I'm gonna grab all this and hopefully put it up in a pile over there. But you can see the V-Plow is key here because you can actually gather it. This is an 8'2" power V. It's got a snow smart shield on it, which is cool. Everything's really new on it. Everything looks great. I don't know if they stored it inside or what, but this thing rips. Super happy with it. So I'm gonna continue on here. I'll show you guys the finished product for the entrance to the park. Plow's working great, truck's working great. I don't foresee, hopefully, there being another starting issue, but like anything mechanical, you never know. Don't count that it's gonna be perfect until it's been good for a while. Of course, it's been started a few times now since I fixed it, but I guess, well, time will tell. All right, well, the first shot I missed the road a little bit, but I'll clean it up, and next time I'll actually know what it is because the sun will hit it and inevitably it'll melt back down. But next time you snow, you'll actually be able to see where it was. So I got a little cleanup to do over here. I'm gonna open up the area around the garage, and that's gonna gain me access to working some of the equipment in there because I have to get the cylinder repaired on the tractor. And I also have to get batteries pulled out. I failed to do that. So I neglected a little bit of the winterization that I should have otherwise done, but without this plow, trying to plow all this with the tractor would be comparatively an absolute nightmare. So this thing absolutely rips. I love it. The Boss V-Plow is the only way to go, in my opinion, if you're gonna spend the money on something like this. Did a bunch of homework, and I talked to a few guys that plow. It's pretty much all they recommended, and I happened to find a pretty sweet deal with one already on a truck. So I'm gonna keep plowing. We'll up to a little bit of a time lapse, and we'll pull batteries out of the stuff in the garage. Okay, so what I really want to do is actually just get the battery out of the mower, out of the tractor, bring this home and probably the fuel can home and all that. And then I'll come back out when I got some daylight tomorrow and probably pull off that cylinder. That would be the one thing that I really want to do, but so far so good in here. I don't think any mice have made it in or anything. There's no droppings, no nests, no nothing, but before it gets really, really cold out, I do want to make sure I get the batteries out so they don't freeze, because that's just more cost that you otherwise could forego. All right, so I got the battery out of the tractor. That all went fine. Starting to crack this one loose, and I'm glad it came out, because I'd hate to come out here and find that they're all dead in the springtime, which they inevitably would be. And that's fine. That's just kind of what happens with small equipment when it sits. But if you can avoid it, I would say that that's probably your best policy. Not only that, it's just better for the battery. Well, it's off for now at any rate. So I'll get the one out of the little garden tractor behind me, and I think that'll about wrap up what I want to do out here. Alright, so I got both of the batteries out and everything all packed up, so I'm going to shut up the garage right now. I can actually access things in here, which is great. It looks like that cylinder is going to come off super easy because it's got a quick connect fitting and just pins and cotter keys holding it in. Luckily, it's also not large enough where I'm going to want some sort of mechanical assistance to actually drop it. It's not going to be that big. I tried to tighten this packing nut in here as much as I possibly could with a pipe wrench. Huge extension on it and everything. It just wasn't working. There is some stuff I want to rewire on here as well. So now that we're in the off season, I can get in here and bring a little hot dog heater or something like that and just stay nice and cozy in here with the doors shut. And yeah, hopefully get Ursula all dialed in for next year. But we're losing light. I just wanted to show you guys the new plow truck. I'm gonna get out of here, clean up the roadway a little bit, and I'll see you guys in the next racetrack video. Well, of all people to swing out, the dude that lived in the garage just stopped by, and yeah, seems like a nice fella. Sounds like he got his stuff together since having all those problems years ago, which is a good thing, but you know, it kind of is what it is. He came out here, and allegedly he was gonna take a look at that bus there, which is evidently his. But he came right in and talked to me, and now he left. So I do wonder if that's what he was doing here, because that was very suspicious. But, you know, at any rate, he's got his life together by the sounds of it, and maybe that's what he was doing. He said he's gonna come look at his bus, but he evidently didn't want to look at it after we talked. So that's all I got. I'll catch up with you guys in the next video.